Well, early on, they lost their ace of their pitching staff, Spencer Strider, season-ending elbow surgery, gone for the year. It did not impale them at that point. This probably kills them. And I saw the video of Ronald Acuna getting hurt. It was fluke. He took 4 steps off second base as if he was faking running. He stopped, his spikes caught, and he twisted and he went down, torn ACL. I mean, it wasn't that he was running full bore. It wasn't that somebody ran into him or he stepped on something in the outfield. He took 4 or 5 steps off second base, just got like I'm faking, and boom, spikes caught. You could see his leg twist. It was gruesome to watch. So that might be the death knell for the Atlanta Braves. And he wasn't hitting very well. In fact, that whole team is not hitting very well. New York Mets, boy, they got problems. They got problems everywhere. Now they've lost Kodai Senga, the Japanese pitcher, for the second time this season. He's never gotten on the roster. He had shoulder capsule problems at the start of spring training. Here we are almost to June 1st, has yet to pitch, was rehabbing in AAA, and now has injured his tricep. So they've had to shut Senga down a second time. The Mets have no established frontline starting pitching. Third topic is Hal Steinbrenner. All this conversation about Juan Soto wants to stay, willing to talk contract right now. Steinbrenner says yes. Then on Friday, Steinbrenner said, we can't continue to operate with this type of payroll with the luxury tax tacked on. He's going public now. Let's get rid of the luxury tax, which is now going to drive a further division with all the small market teams who think the luxury tax is really critical for revenue sharing. So how do you get rid of the luxury tax, which would allow the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Mets to spend whatever they wanted? And how do you compensate the small market teams who would not have a chunk of revenue share because the luxury tax check? Padres paid $40 million into that pool this year. That check would go away. How do you also make the small market owners spend more? So, it's a very complex question. So, John, you got the Braves, you got the Mets, you got the Yankees, and step up to the podium.
So, wasn't Acuna, didn't he already hurt his ACL a few years ago?
Ran into the fence.
So, is it the same knee?
No, I thought he injured the ankle. I don't know if he tore the Achilles, but he had a major injury.
It was an Achilles, yeah.
He ran into the fence and his foot got caught. Mm-hmm. So that's an issue. But this is a death blow. And it's weird because they roared out of the gate, even though they lost Strider and they were hitting. They've stopped hitting across the board. They got 5 guys, 5 stars, all hitting under 250.
Yeah. Well, it is weird how the fluke thing does it for the ACL. My daughter tore both of her ACLs, both on fluke events. So, that's tough on the Braves. As far as the Mets concerned, the whole situation there is just a disaster, isn't it?
And they got the Peter Alonso crisis because he's refused to sign a contract extension. And the impulsive owner, he can't trade you or me, but he could trade Peter Alonso at the deadline. And that's a storyline in New York that the Mets are going to do that. And if that happens, that means Soto might have a second place to go negotiate with in addition to the Yankees.
And then with the revenue share business, the NFL has a model that works, right? So
steal from it.
Yeah. So why not implement that with MLB?
Well, I concur. There's a lot of things the NFL does right that baseball kind of ignores. You got to go through the union on that situation. So that's the latest on the baseball stories.